Marry me, say yes. Marry me, say yes. They really relied on the repetition in the songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fine.
Say yes, say yes, say yes. Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. As always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned. On today's episode, we are apparently going to have a conversation about the new Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson rom-com, Marry Me.
Is this smart?
I think we left smart 6 weeks ago.
I was on my way to you.
Why are you laughing?
But you said apparently like I forced you into this.
No, if anything, I forced you.
No, I have been in
You have
this
been a
movie
willing participant.
since minute one. The first time I saw the trailer.
Why?
I love romantic comedies.
Uh-huh.
I think Jennifer Lopez actually never really got a fair shake at romantic comedies.
I think she's got, okay.
She's done a handful, but I feel like
she's famous for it.
People allow her to do it because she's so good at the rest of her career. I think most people think her romantic comedies are like third tier, and I think they're incredible.
Yeah, I think if anything, that's what she's the most famous for.
As opposed to her music?
Well, okay. I'm actually a really big Jennifer Lopez fan. I think for whatever reason, people don't put enough respect on her name. And
That's sort of what I was shooting for.
Okay. I think there's an element of desperation to her entire thing.
Okay.
But she's so good at it that I think it works.
To me, it's like, it's similar, but a lesser version of whatever Madonna is up to.
Significantly.
Yeah.
Especially in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been this coming from within the machine, the can you believe how amazing and how hot Jennifer Lopez is? And it would not work if it weren't true. Because it's like, we joked that when she hosted SNL like 2 or 3 years ago, every skit was about how hot she is.
Yeah.
And while, that's true, it was sort of like heavy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I know that. I don't need, like, why is that the joke? You know what I mean? Like, that's like so obvious.
This sounds so shady, and I don't mean it shady, but I'm saying the point that I'm saying is that it's only okay because it is true, because it is working. And I definitely think, and this is not a pun, I guess it should be, but I definitely think she's a hustler.
Sure,
I think that she projects an air of effortlessness, but I think she is truly working.
Oh, no, 100%.
Truly working for it.
100%. And I think that is something that, again, like you said, it gets overlooked and people are just like, well, she's Jennifer Lopez. And I'm like, yeah, but that means something.
Well, because because she is not a strong vocalist in the sense that, like, the Celine Dion, Adele, like Beyonce, like she's not a vocalist in that regard. And so people like to kind of shade her. And part of me is sort of like, but isn't that more impressive?
She's like a whole thing.
That, like, she's definitely, we just talked about Death on the Nile, and I was talking about how Gal Gadot is a movie star more than an actress. And I feel similarly about Jennifer Lopez. I think that she is an old world movie star. And it's that very triple threat actor, singer, dancer thing that celebrities used to be back in the golden age of Hollywood. And this sounds so much shadier than I mean it. This is all for me to say that I actually think she's pretty great.
Yeah.
And I think she largely stays in her lane.
Yeah, no, 100%. I also, in addition to loving Jennifer Lopez and thinking that she deserves more rom-coms, especially because we all deserve more rom-coms with women in their 50s, even if they just don't look like they're even anywhere near 50.
She is north of 35.
North of 35 is how the movie described it.
You laughed out loud. Like,
she's
you
like
shrieked.
52. north of 35.
That is north of 35.
Regardless, in addition to loving Jennifer Lopez, I also am obsessed with a rom-com that has like a really audacious, crazy, like
premise
at the center of it, which this does. I think
that's the thing, is this.
And it's executed well, because if it weren't executed well, it's like those stupid First Daughter movies, the one with Katie Holmes and
or the
one
Hallmark movies or whatever.
Yeah.
The premise for this is so stupid, and the trailer is so straightforward and cloying that I just imagined the movie being that way.
Yeah.
And shockingly, this movie is so watchable.
Yeah.
Dare I even say good?
I think it was good. I think this was a good rom-com.
I was kind of just charmed through the entire thing. And again, shockingly, the premise doesn't wear the movie.
No.
It's like once, because you get a sense, you have a sense of the like, man, if this is what they're leading with, if this is what they're selling us with, imagine how bad the actual thing must be. But when it gets down to it, it's actually a very normal, straightforward movie that you just kind of, once you accept the premise, the rest of it is like cake. Like it's so smooth.
And it's also like, I could sort of imagine, because there is a weird secret villain in Jimmy Fallon in this movie. So I could imagine being Kat and just like constantly hearing Jimmy Fallon talking shit about how I've been married 3 times and like whatever. And just legitimately being like, well, I guess I'll try the exact opposite, and being like, yeah, whatever, you guy.
And they do bring up, because it's something that I thought going into it, where I was like, historically, it's not that far-fetched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they do acknowledge, because the randomness of it, like an arranged marriage, it's in the title, it's arranged.
Yeah.
This is not. And they do acknowledge that, and they also point out that she lucked out by picking a good rando.
Yeah.
There's a strange amount of sincerity that I thought would be a mark against the movie, and it ends up being why the movie works.
Yeah.
That you really, for whatever reason, we buy her meltdown. We buy her desperation in this scenario.
In that moment,
yeah. And he kind of goes with it, where he was like, I was trying to help her because this strange woman was floundering.
Having a total breakdown. It helps that after having this very public meltdown, whenever they are together, after that, she is very competent and controlled, and like
they're very practical.
Yeah, but she is not, like, she's not having a like persistent meltdown. It was like one bad moment. And so it's not like a lot of rom-coms, especially from the 90s, where it's like she's not like tripping and falling down and like acting crazy.
Gonna say she's not a diva. Like she's not this head in the clouds where he has to teach her how. Because if anything, I think she's grounding him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're evening each other out a little.
Sure, that, but it's like there's a very strange wish fulfillment gender flip in this movie.
Well, but it's also not something he wished for ever a day in his life.
No, I know, but she's providing him with this like luxurious fantasy that we're so used to seeing
the woman
the billionaire Christian Greys, you know, all of that. And it's because there's a scene where she takes him to the carnival, and it's like her money and power is what allowed all this to happen. And it's like, and again, spoilers, towards the end of the movie, she's the one chasing him.
Yeah.
And on top of that, on top of the like the weird practicality and sincerity of the movie, it's also just actually funny.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it's also like a lot of rom-coms have the nerve to then also be sexless, and this is not sexless. They're very flirty. They do have sex. It's like, but it's not just like, you know, a chaste kiss and then nothing. It was like, I don't know. I really dug it. And also what's interesting to me, and I would love to note if this will start happening going forward, but flipped the other way, he is very clear about how he cannot miss his job. He's like, I teach at a school. I have a job. I have a kid. And it's like in all those other ones where like the man is the billionaire and like taking these people away, the women away. It's like she has a job and it doesn't mean shit. She's going away from that job. And so that's the kind of thing where I'm just.
So you liked that?
I like it in this. I want it to go in the reverse.
There was a part of me, we had a laugh during the middle of the movie because we both made Gossip Girl Humphrey comparisons. He has a slight Dan/Rufus Humphrey quality that rears its head.
Check out our Gossip Girl coverage if you're interested.
I was going to that. You don't get the privilege of dating this woman and being like, well, I have blah, 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 blah.
And it's another very similar thing to that where we've talked about more on the like Vanessa end of the spectrum. But it's like, the audacity to be like, to pretend you have the moral high ground just because she's rich. You know what I mean? Like, she's a rich, successful,
and that's what I mean,
famous person, and you think that just because of those three things, you are morally above her? No.
Because, and that's kind of what I mean, where I was like, the movie presents her as a person experiencing success for all of their hard work and not privilege.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a handful of very light privilege jokes or comments, but I think they're more grounded in it's like it's more of a fish out of water and less a look at how much she needs to be taken down a peg.
Yeah.
Because the whole trip to the airport thing, it's because at first when he was like, well, when he was trying to negotiate with her about how like you have too many people around you doing stuff for you, and I was like, this doesn't feel called for. But then to watch her trying to do stuff herself, it ended up being actually pretty funny.
But also I like that they made like a dual bet where she was like, okay, I'll be without my people for like 2 days or whatever,
but also you have to
like join the universe and get on social media. Like, and also he's like, because he originally makes the deal for like money for the school kind of, and then it's like, but then why are you then not using this huge platform that you've just been given to try to get donations for the school from like out, like he's not at any point until someone forces him doing anything with this huge opportunity he's been given.
That was a little bit kind of like, guy, come on.
Because he thinks he's morally above social media and like using tools that are at his disposal. It's like you like the martyrdom of suffering through being a public school teacher just because it's like the lot you chose in life. And it's like, you can make it easier for yourself. If this humongous pop star wants to help you make money for your school, let it happen.
The rom-com element of this absolutely works. I think that they were very well paired.
Shockingly good chemistry. I was not expecting it.
Well, and I also think that his character works because it's Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, if this were Bradley Cooper behaving this way, I don't think it would work quite as much.
Bradley Cooper's too hot.
Yeah. And the age appropriateness of the whole thing was kind of
except for Maluma.
That checked.
It checks.
That checked. There was something enjoyable for me, like even like hypothetically take the romance angle off the stage or off the plate. There's something hypothetical about their unlikely friendship, about how someone who is so in a bubble having a relationship with a normal person, like it's almost like a like I could see this being like a sponsor, like
sure.
Surrogate, like pen pal, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was something very interesting about watching them ground each other and bring, you know, the best out of each other. You mentioned Maluma. He's in a little bit more of this than I thought. I literally thought he was only in the beginning. Yeah. I did not realize he was going to be a presence. Yeah. And they do some interesting that man. The word fine is thrown around a lot these days.
He is fine. He is fine.
He's absolutely like a dog. Like you literally, God, he's such a fuckboy.
Yeah.
But he weirdly manages to not feel like a villain or like a...
So, yeah, I mean, he is...
Like, he's not a scumbag. Yeah. He's just sort of incorrigible.
In my opinion, he is... Like, I think he cheated, not on purpose. I think it was just like... Well, no, because he tried to explain to her. He was like, you had kicked me out. And she was like, so it's my fault. And it's like, basically, she kicked him out. And then he, like, ran into the assistant. And it was just sort of like a spur of the moment. I don't think he was trying to cheat. It just happened. But regardless, you know, you can't really, like, you know... come back from that necessarily, but I think what he's doing after
it's more so the public humiliation, though. It's not
sure, yeah. And then what he's trying to do after that is just like get as much of the like attention as he can. Like he's using all that to the advantage.
I think that there's two ways you can view him because you were also like this re-courtship of her is all so public.
Yeah,
like he's doing it in ways that she can't.
Yeah,
reject it. And I don't think
they're on the red carpet because they got their song gets nominated for a Grammy, so they're on the red carpet and he's like touching her and like hand on the small of the back, leading her like.
And
down
the people want it, so if she were to spurn it, the audience would turn on her.
Exactly.
It's absolutely there, and I think it's a valid interpretation. I don't necessarily think it was intended or it was designed that way.
Well, so for me, I think he's just feeding these rumors in order to keep himself at the top of the conversation too.
I got that he actually liked her. I got that he
Two
actually.
things can be true.
Okay, yeah. I got that he was actually, like I said, they could have gone hard villain with him, and he's gray in a way that I was surprised by, especially.
But you cannot tell me. I will insist this until the day I die. When they're on Jimmy Fallon at the end, if she had not left, he was going to propose again after they finished singing their song. There's not a question in my mind.
No, I was going to say he's gray in a way that I was not expecting from the presentation of the trailer of this movie. I mean, there's a shot in the trailer, which was, for me, it was my moment where I was like, I can't do this. And it's Sarah Silverman being like, this is the most unbelievable thing that could ever happen. And I was like, oof. And she's also like weirdly good in this. Yeah. That's kind of a misrepresentation of both her performance and the movie.
Yeah.
I feel weird saying that this movie was mismarketed or poorly marketed.
Rom-coms often are.
Because I think we needed that. Like, I think it needed to set the bar really low in order for it to soar. I guess what I'm saying is if you watch this trailer and you were like, hard no, maybe give it a shot. It might surprise you by how even-keeled it really is. It feels like a Looney Tune going into it. And I could tell within the first 5 minutes, just the way they were establishing the world. Because I also am a little bit resistant to narratives where we're meant to believe that everybody is all in on this one pop star because it'd be tough. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of contrary
in the pop star community. Like the only thing that comes close is Beyonce to like universal adoration.
And this does a fair job. Like I bought into most of it. I made a joke or two where I was like, I am finding it a little hard to believe that these children are so invested in this 50-year-old pop star. But the adults I'm totally there with. But you kind of just have to allow it to happen.
Again, though, north of 35.
And also, not unlike Jennifer Lopez herself, they're selling it more like she's a celebrity. Yeah. Like pop star is an element of what she does.
Yeah.
But because they also, it's something that I feel passionately about, especially with women, is they present her at being very good at this.
Yeah.
She can navigate the press. Like she's not like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like she has a pretty iron grip on the narrative. She can come in and out of it. She's got her advertising thises and that's, and it's like there could literally be a scene where she was at a book signing or on a movie set, and I wouldn't have questioned it whatsoever.
She also writes her own music and she plays the piano. So,
and I found the songs to be more than serviceable. Like it's not a Star Is Born good.
It's not as good as Allie, but Kat Valdez, I'm into it.
There's 2 or 3 of them that you might seep into your.
I really liked the one she wrote about Owen Wilson. That villain Jimmy Fallon insisted she wrote about that shit.
That's my favorite. It's not my favorite part of the movie. It's my favorite part of your take of the movie is this mustache twirling Jimmy Fallon. I mean, you're right. It was like
as if Jimmy Fallon woke up one morning and poured himself into
and chose
the
violence.
Jay Leno mold. And I was just like,
because you were like, is he like this? And I was like, no.
Because I don't often watch late night stuff.
That's the joke is he's so milquetoast that it's like, because they were having a hard time when the late night wars were happening because it was like Conan was meant to take the mantle, but like old people didn't like Conan. He was
too much.
His style was too. So Jimmy Fallon was like perfect. Like my grandmother would have watched Jimmy Fallon.
I like Jimmy Fallon and I think he's great. I don't watch a lot of.
He's good at what he does.
But I just was like, did he develop like a nasty?
No, I found that to be very funny.
Like in the last 5 years.
It's like when it's happened a lot in the past 10 years or something, but when celebrities play like Funhouse versions of themselves. Yeah. I liked that a lot.
Every time somebody was like watching Jimmy Fallon on one of the like TVs, he just was like raking her over the coals. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I actually could have used 1 or 2 more absurd production numbers.
Sure.
We get a truly unhinged almost vile performance early in the beginning where it's like church.
Yeah.
And they're like church, 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 church. And there's...
But then it's like overtly sexual lyrics.
It's so gross. And I heard someone, I listened to Pop Culture Happy Hour talk about it, and they kept talking about this Madonna scene, and I was like, that's pure Christina Aguilera. That's not Madonna. I was like, Madonna would be more, it would be more wrought if it was Madonna.
Yeah. Somehow slightly more respectful. And
not even respectful, but just like heavier.
Yeah, but like the words "open me up" were in that song, and the sexy nuns. Oh my god, it was
that was pure Christina Aguilera, and the stuff like that. I could have taken 20% more to use the word funhouse again. Like I don't know. I find that kind of heightened. That might have taken us into like a pop star place, like mockumentary. I don't know. I'm just actually truly astonished at how watchable, how good this movie was. I genuinely was invested in it and cared about it. And what? Because you've been
nice being right.
You've been chilling for this movie for a year.
I have.
Did any part of you think that it was going to be actually good?
Not this good. I thought I was going to like it. I didn't think it was going to be this good. In fact, I have been saying every time we saw the trailer, it's going to be terrible. I can't wait.
And
it's actually
just good.
Just great. I just really liked it.
There's also a good use of Michelle Buteau. She's in it. There's kind of a baffling Jamila Jamil. I wish she had one or two more scenes because she was...
as if Kat didn't need an assistant in all of those 6 weeks after they clearly fired the one that was fucking her fiance. We could have had Jamila. Maybe that's the thing is like potentially Jamila was in more of it and it just got cut. But
I didn't even think about that.
It was like goth Jamila. It was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. They threaten us with bloopers at the end and don't.
And it was not quite
follow through. That would have been the full package. Yeah. As if we had a blooper reel over the credits.
Yeah.
But they do a When Harry Met Sally and. Nick Novicki is friends with the director.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I need to understand why he's in this.
She's directed a lot of stuff, like a lot of TV, especially.
A lot of good TV.
Dead Like Me, Girls 5 Eva, which we haven't actually watched.
I've heard it's great. Based on this, I actually think she's probably great. If
she's doing She-Hulk.
If she no, because She-Hulk is also it's a big bite.
Yeah,
it's a big bite, and if she landed this plane, she could land.
I 100% agree. 100%. She also directed a couple of episodes of like...
What was her name?
Kat Koira. She directed a couple episodes of the short-lived sitcom that's been my favorite of like the last 10 years, Single Parents.
I saw that.
So funny.
I'm honestly... I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah. Your mom will like it. Happy Valentine's Day!
Yeah. So this is weirdly us being like, watch this movie.
Yeah. It's in the theaters, but it's also on Peacock. You can stream it at home if you don't want to go out to the theaters. I don't think there's anything that you really miss not seeing it on a big screen, except for maybe her wedding dress.
I did write down very early on, it was giving me very specific girl and gay that first Sex and the City movie.
Sure, I see
where
that.
It just was, especially in the beginning, she has like 6 outfit changes where you're just like
the shorts and top while bowling. Fuck off. And the high pony. Where do you get off at 52?
And that is such a underserved, to use the phrase wish fulfillment again. Like, I just think that there's such a market for like just fun, light, funny, glamorous.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, yeah. So
2 thumbs up. Yeah. Super fun. Super good.
The little girl from
recommend.
She was in
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies. She was really good in this. She is so pretty.
Her name is Chloe Coleman.
I cannot wait to see what she does, like as her stuff goes, because she was very good.
I agree.
In this. So, yep.
All right.
On that note.
Yep. You can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching or Instagram at So I'm Watching the Show. We also have a website, soimwatching.com.
If you want to marry us, baby, marry us.
I'm already married, but I don't know, depending on how much money.
Have an affair.
Yeah, we'll see.
Affair with us.
Yeah, just like and subscribe, and then that's it for us. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye.